Waiting on this. All right, let's kick it off, man. I'm not gonna waste no time this afternoon because
jump into it.
Yeah, I got quite a bit of clips, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so let's start with the introduction. My name is Brandon B. Dixon, NMLS 1541210. It's at BNL Loan Officer on all social media. Go to the YouTube as well. It's at BNL Loan Officer is the handle. You go to my website, www.applywithb.com, if you want to book me for a consultation and get on my calendar, or you can apply for a mortgage right there as well. 832-775-8357. You can call me 24/7. If you got any questions or anything like that, as long as it's about business, go to the website, www.brandonbdixon.com. If you want to list, you want to lease, you want to invest, go to that website as well. Don't forget, I'm on both sides of what's called a reload. I think I coined the phrase. Now this went nationwide. This that quick, man. So everybody's talking about reloads, but yeah, we was talking about this a year and a half ago, right? Before it caught fire, right, Chris? Yeah, and it caught fire right fast, man. That's why you got to patent your ideas, man. Boys are taking to keep rolling. But www.cocinvestmentclub.com if you want to get into real estate investment and mitigate your risk. All right, CJ, I got you queued up.
All right, what's up, everybody? CJ, broker owner of Greenwood Realty Group. Give me a follow on social media. On most platforms, it's CJ Sales Texas. That's CJSELLFTX. And by the sound of things, we're going to have TikTok after January 19th, so I might not even look at that one. But go on YouTube, CJ the Realtor. Got videos on there highlighting some of the luxury projects in Houston. I'll let you know what's available, what's up and coming, giving you other good treats and a little bit of game. So go on there, subscribe, share, all that. Run the numbers up for me. And then, of course, we give back our mentorship program, the Mansa Academy. If you want more information, go to themansaacademy.org.
All right. And Corey, I got you queued up.
All right, Corey Smith, broker owner Commodore Mortgage, here for all your mortgage needs.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get started, man. I got a bunch of clips. I don't know if I watched them all, but I watched a bunch of them. These are the top clips of the week that's in real estate and the mortgage industry. So, they had for some reason, they had a bunch of them this week. So a lot of, I don't know, maybe the boys trying to make that full quarter push, but a lot of people putting out some media stuff. So there's no particular order, no rhyme or reason. I just got a bunch of them. So let's go ahead and start with the first one, and then we're going to go and react to it and give our 2 cents and rock from there. So let's start with the first one. All right. Bam.
A real estate agent has nothing to do with selling homes. Everything to do with making connections. Let me explain. Anyone can sell a house. It's freaking easy. Even this dog sold a house. But what is difficult is getting the clients. In order to make millions of dollars in real estate, you got to have clients that have millions of dollars of real estate to buy or sell. And this is done by building relationships. The more relationships you have with people, the more business you can ask for and the more money you're going to make. Start making relationships, and you could do so by following me. Being a successful real estate agent.
I don't know how following her going to make her build relationships. But that is the #1 video of the week. But as far as the most, as far as the most popular, you know what I'm saying. So I'll let y'all go ahead and run it, on that, and then I'll put my 2 cents in.
Well, look, here's the thing.
all at the same time now.
Here's the thing. I do think relationships are currency, right? So you know what I'm saying? Relationships can help you in many facets of everyday life. So I do think she has a point with that. I think a lot of people necessarily get into real estate. They don't have the personality. They don't have the relationships. Therefore, they don't make the money. So they don't end up being in real estate long. They go through all this work, spend all this money to get their real estate license, just to go out of business within 6 months. Just because of the market, because deals aren't falling in their lap, or 3, they don't have the ability to build these relationships to continue business, to stay in business. So I do definitely think she has a point, and I definitely think relationships are currency, for sure.
Right. CJ, you want to get in there?
I mean, there's a little validity to what she's saying. I think that you can still make money in real estate without having those type of relationships, because you won't have them in the beginning if you just start. So that's when you really like feet to the pavement, grinding, building those relationships. So as you get that, you just work harder to like achieve the money and the finances and revenue that you're looking for. And once you establish, a network, and you start having people refer business and you have repeat clients, it gets a little easier. But in some situations, people first coming in, you ain't gonna have that. You might not come in and have a group of millionaires ready to refer business to you. So you got to get out there and you either dial for dollars or put the feet to the pavement and go get it.
Right. I mean, I think she partially right. I mean, a lot of people. I think both of y'all right. I mean, I just want to add a third layer to it. I think you got to have a bunch of gotta wanna, and part of that gotta wanna is the follow up. Key senseless plug for my next book that I'm working on right now. It's called Follow Up or Flop. You know what I'm saying? So,
bestseller?
Huh?
I said, bestseller, another bestseller.
So follow up or flop, man. It's all in the follow up game. You can have a bunch of friends, bunch of associates, bunch of relationships, but if you can't follow up with them and you scared to ask for the money, you ain't doing nothing. So I don't. Hey, Corey been on the phone with CJ. I'm gonna sell something. I'm always selling something. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it is. If it's gonna be marketing, I'm always gonna sell something, and it's always gonna be positive. It's always gonna be trying to put some money in your pocket. That's me. That's Brandon B. Dixon. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? Like, come with me to do a robbery or do some immoral stuff. Somebody to clone me, that ain't me. But if it's some positive stuff, if the outcome is income, I'm with it. So you know a tree by the fruit that it bears. So I'm always gonna be trying to do something with the business, trying to move something forward. You gotta follow up with stuff. So you gotta have that switch. Relationships, cool, but yeah, it's got to be business relationships as well. So that's all I would add to it. I mean, she's definitely right. Relationships are currency, and without relationships, a lot of people fizzle out though too. I agree with CJ. A lot of people fizzle out because after they do their circle of influence, they cousins and nephew, and they have nobody else. They didn't start any new relationships. A lot of people are introverts, and they're scared to meet new people. Or a lot of people know it alls too. A lot of millennials and zillennials know it alls. Yep. So if you got it figured out already, you're never gonna grow. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are gonna tell you, a seasoned person, how to do things, and you never put any hay in the barn. You ain't scored no points yet, but you're gonna tell me how to do it. And that's how you sever relationships. That's how you kill relationships right there. Like, man, you need to. I think one of the clips coming on talking about that as well. Like, man, a lot of millennials and zillennials kill the relationships before they even start by thinking they know it all.
Hey, I think it's a little bit of knowing it all, and I think it's a lot of, with millennials, they're not willing to adjust and meet people where they are. Everybody's a little bit different in the way they process information, the way they do things, whatever the case may be. I think for a lot of millennials, they're just like, okay, well, look, if you don't fit inside this bucket and I can't hang or have this conversation with you, then I'm done with you. You know what I'm saying? I want nothing else to do with you. And I think that's a detriment to them. You know what I'm saying? Because I think they miss out on a lot of valuable people, a lot of valuable relationships, just because people don't always fit inside a simple box or a simple bucket. I think you have to be willing to meet people where they are and be able to, kind of be able to interact with different personalities.
Right. Well, yeah, like I said, they so scared to if you don't look like the typical person, you don't know where your next meal gonna coming from if you, especially in commission. So a lot of people prejudge, and you know, and if you don't know how you don't know how many. I'll tell a quick story before I get to the next one. Just looking for this particular home. I went to this lot, out there in Sealy, and they just brushed me off. Man, you just miss out on the sale. You don't know how much bread I got in my pocket. But they rush me in, rush me out. But a lot of people do that. They already closed off, and you don't know how many opportunities you just been closed out. Yeah. So a lot of people don't even open themselves up to new relationships, unless it's right there in front of their face, and you have in your mind the ideal person that you want to sell to, and that's not always the case. You got to get uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
And that's going back to where they talk about, judging a book by its cover. And I think a lot of people have missed out on a lot of money just because they get it wrong. Right. A lot of the people that have real money, like real money, are not the ones that I typically see inside the club with bling bling and all this other stuff on, or whatever the case may be. Those would be the ones in the corner, with the beat up pickup truck or whatever the case may be. Those are the ones that have the money. But because of their lifestyle, they automatically get prejudged. Just because I think social media has kind of torn everybody's perception apart of what true money really is, what true wealth really is. Right. So, they judge a book based upon what they understand off social media, and that's not really reality.
Right. They chase the shiny objects. A lot of people that's shiny bling blinging is the brokers. Correct. And that's where they think where the money at, and they can't adapt to what else is going on. I had a conversation this week about that. Like, everybody think the world revolves around them. Like, it's like, nah, you got to well-rounded means that you could have conversations with all type of people from different walks of life. So everybody don't know who Beyonce is. It's contrary to popular belief. Everybody don't know who Jay-Z is, so everybody ain't into hip hop culture, so you can't get mad when they don't know. You ain't heard of Beyonce? No, I haven't. That ain't important to me, So you can't push your culture on somebody else. You can't push what you think is important on somebody else. And in order to have relationships, you got to give and receive. I mean, give and give to get. This is what it is.
Correct.
So, but let's get this next one. A lot of these the luxury clips as well. Luxury real estate. Let's rock this one.
This is not my $25 million penthouse. Yeah. Come here. Let me show you why I dropped $25 on a penthouse like this. That's why. And if you can't appreciate what you're seeing right now, that's okay. This isn't for you. I'll admit there are plenty of places I wouldn't live, but that doesn't make your choice to live or invest there foolish. Plus, I'm still going to show you more of the best view of the Empire State Building in the city, whether you think it's worth it or not. But it does get me thinking. I wonder if the draw of New York City has a specific correlation with success. I'm not talking about being mildly successful, but becoming ultra wealthy, which Google defines as someone having over $30 million in liquid assets. So what I'm curious about is not the number of ultra wealthy here in the city, because naturally the professional landscape creates that bias. But I'm curious about what the average financial goal is of those who live and work here in NYC. Are you guys putting up with the exorbitant cost of living because of the allure of great success and the city's alignment with your dreams? Or is it just a temporary season of your life for you to enjoy, since NYC has the best food? I moved here 6 years ago with nothing but a dream and love living here. So for everyone who's on the fence or preparing to move, ignore the hate in the comments because it's absolutely worth it. albeit expensive and difficult at times.
What do you guys think? Tag somebody you'd be sharing this with in the comments below.
This is not my
Beautiful apartment.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, I like the penthouse my damn self. I'll let y'all go ahead while I look for this next clip. Go ahead and get in on that.
So from the perspective of, you know what I'm saying, his video, is that a listing that he had, or was that his actual apartment? That's the part I couldn't.
I switched it now, so I can't go back and research it. But from what he's saying, it sounds like he dropped the bread on it. He said he dropped 25, M's on it.
Yeah.
So
He said this is not mine in the beginning.
Oh no, I don't think so.
No, I misheard.
The way he says it's not mine yet, or something like that.
So his ambitions is to get an apartment like that costs that much.
I'm about to research that. Hold on a second. Now you're gonna make me go back.
I don't know, but either way, if you work hard for your money, and once you achieve a level of success, then you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. I don't think being in a certain location is going to, increase your drive and motivation. You got to have that in you no matter where you at.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's why I kind of played. I like this clip because I want to take it back to that Dolomite remake with Eddie Murphy. And Dolomite had, I don't want to quote him, because I don't curse. I try not to curse on there, but he like, man, he moved to LA or something to that effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was originally from Arkansas. And his aunt, who loaned him the money to get started to make his first record, asked him, hey, when the last time you been back home? He was like, man, every time I think of back home, I think of F back home. You know what I'm saying? So just moving scenery inspires some people. That keeps you on the grind and keep up with the pace, keep you on your hustle. And like, shoot, even in the lyrics in New York,
you made a good point right there, though. It's the people you're around. It ain't necessarily where you at.
Right. Well,
environment.
Originally, I'm from Louisiana. I got inspired by Houston. I've been here ever since. You know what I'm saying? This is bigger city, more opportunity. Everybody ain't hating on each other, and it's kind of laid back, and that's kind of they kind of adopted me from there. So like I've been there ever since. I've been different places and stuff like that, but it's more my speed. I can live in Miami, I can live in LA, I can live in New York, and it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Same here. I bounce around. I've been here for 17 years now.
Right. So I definitely could yield to the fact that your location can inspire you. I think that's one of ground 101. If you ain't making bread in your city, man, move around. Don't be scared to leave the nest.
But and then I think it has some validity too, though, because before I lived here, I lived in the Midwest.
Right.
And bro, when I tell you, like, as soon as October hits, when that fall season hits the Midwest,
right,
the sun disappears. It's just gray skies for months. You don't want to do nothing but get out of there.
Right. That's it. That's it.
That joint is depressing.
Right.
Yeah. So it's similar to like it's very similar to like Alaska, or you know what I'm saying, even I spent some time in Finland where, you know what I'm saying, during the winter times, like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it gets pitch black outside.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So majority of the time, you know what I'm saying, it's dark throughout the day. So those places kind of have the highest level of depression, just because when it's dark all day and you don't get that sunlight, you don't get a chance to get that different mindset on life. The same thing it does to this day. If it becomes morning time, you know what I'm saying, I got to let the blinds open, man. Let some sun inside. You know what I'm saying? I work from home. So, sitting inside with the blinds closed and everything, you know what I'm saying, it's a different feeling than being outside or letting the blinds open or whatever, letting that sun shine in or whatever the case may be. But the other thing I want to talk about too is that I think when certain people look at the apartment he has, or maybe the car that he has, or whatever the case may be, people limit their ceiling according to what their actual current situation is and what their ambitions are, right? So to somebody, to him that says, you know what I'm saying, maybe, maybe he owns that or whatever, or maybe he has ambitions to own something like that. You may have 100 other people that say, man, I would never spend money on that.
Yeah.
I would never spend money on a Lexus. For what? You know what I'm saying? And those are the people that never have ambition to want more, to do more. Those are the ones that typically, you know what I'm saying, just kind of cool where they at with the $10 an hour job. And they don't want to do anything different. So I think videos like that are great for most people. But I think some people kind of miss the target and miss the mark on motivation when it comes to videos like that, just because they limit their beliefs in their head.
Right. Well, my mentor, Mattress Mac, always used to say, man, in order to sell luxury, you got to experience luxury. You know, so and if you in the high ticket sales and professional sales like I am, you gotta. How can you sell somebody and you never experienced it yourself? You can't in your mind fathom how somebody can spend this amount. How can you? You can't. You don't have the verbiage to sell them. So you gotta get uncomfortable and get in. If you wanna be able to sell it, you got to know the nuances of it. In order to convey that to the customer. So you can't be, you drive a Pinto and you trying to sell Lambos. You never, you don't own a Lambo. You never experience that. It'd be killing me. A lot of these part-time real estate agents don't own a house they sell. They'd be in apartments. Like how you don't know the process of home ownership and what it is to pay taxes and stuff like that. You kind of, you got to stretch yourself. So, that should be the first thing you should buy. Yeah. House to sell. That should be your first investment. How you gonna sell something that you ain't never experienced?
I definitely think you're saying everybody think it's a little bit different because sometimes you got to sell. Sometimes you got to sell what you haven't necessarily experienced first. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're trying to keep the lights on and do what you need to do to survive. But I definitely think for a lot of people, if you have the ability to experience, like CJ conversation as a homeowner is going to be completely different than somebody else that's living in an apartment trying to tell you the things you need to look out for in a house when you buy a house. You know what I'm saying? Because when you experience things, there's nuances and things, small things that you can alert the client about or give them a heads up on that you can't necessarily read in a book, right? You know what I'm saying? So I think people miss the target or miss the boat on that. But you know what I'm saying? If you have the opportunity to experience it, go experience it for sure.
Right.
Yeah, let's get the beats experience.
Yeah, you definitely. The point is, stretch yourself out. A point of that clip I got, stretch yourself out. I like the fact that he said as well, it was a dream 6 years ago and he made it reality. So, don't forget, you don't have infinite time. Why not? I think our priorities, especially in our community, is we YOLO to go to the club. Why not YOLO, buy high-end real estate? Why not YOLO buy something in I was watching earlier today, some friends spent $65K on an island. Why don't you YOLO that type of stuff? And now it's worth 14 million.
For some meals.
Yeah, so they flipped it from 65 to 14 million. Why not YOLO and buy you 10 acres somewhere? So live in a different country for a few years. Buy real estate in the Caribbean somewhere. Buy real estate. Why not YOLO that? But it's all good.
The biggest thing, just to piggyback on that, is what I'm saying, I think a lot of people can do it, but a lot of people won't do it just because of two things: procrastination and fear. Right. You know what I'm saying? Fear holds so many people back from accomplishing their goals and doing anything that they want to do, just because they're scared of failing. They're scared of this. They're scared of that. At the end of the day, it's about execution. Majority of the billionaires and things like that have podcasts always tell you to fail forward. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always going to be lessons to learn. But if you're scared of failing, you know what I'm saying, you're always going to be in the same position you've always been in.
Guns and butter, man. That was the first lesson I learned off of Baby Boy, man. Guns and butter. So we spend our money on a lot of butter, man. You know, if we put some money in some guns, you know, and just learn to appreciate the guns, we'll be all right, man. Like them cruises and them trips, that's ain't nothing but memories. You can't pass that down. But you can pass that acres down. It might not be as sexy as that trip to Italy, but it's gonna be here long after the memories fade.
Ain't lying.
Let's run this next one.
Well, hello, it's Vegas Policy, and this house right here was fined $180,000 by the city of Las Vegas for having an illegal Airbnb. The Airbnb rules in Las Vegas are extremely strict because they are trying to protect that industry right there. That's the stratosphere. They have hotel rooms over there, and they do not want everybody in the city of Las Vegas renting their homes. During a hearing in front of the city council to appeal the civil penalty, homeowner Singh Tao alleged that he was defrauded by a tenant who had rented the house without his permission. This story is mainly from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Unpersuaded, lawmakers voted 7-0 to uphold the penalty. The owner must stand up and take care of what's done with their own properties, Mayor Carolyn Goodman said. Records show the city slapped a lien on the property in late 2023 for the amount owed. $180,000 is now owed on this home, and they have a lien on it from the city of Las Vegas. That's a very big fine. It was not easy to find this house, by the way, if you made it to the end of this video. I looked all over the place for it. The things I do for the Vegas Policy show. Vegas Policy.
Hey,
That's tough.
they ain't playing no games up there.
None. But here's the thing, though. You know what I'm saying? Is that the owner of that property loses regardless of what happens. So you know what I'm saying? The fact that he owes $180,000 to the city of Las Vegas, you know what I'm saying, is one loss. The second loss is that he could probably get around it because if you lease that property to a tenant and you don't have idea, because you can't put a private investigator out there every single day, he may actually win that case if he takes it to court. But by the time you finish paying lawyers to fight it,
right, you spent that
you're
one
still losing.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a messed up situation. That's why Airbnb you have to be real careful.
That's like a slippery slope because I understand as a property owner, you should be able to do what you want to with your property.
Right.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's some long money down the street that's paying this government.
It's the true definition of capitalism. You got some big players that's down there on that strip that has their fingers on the pulse, and they have a great relationship with the government.
Right.
So they're gonna make things happen.
They probably fed level with it.
Yeah, that tips the scale in their favor, right? You know what I'm saying? So if it tips the scale in their favor, then the small guy gotta kind of get squashed, unfortunately, in that situation.
In that situation, you need to be more strategic with the location. Because if you already know they ain't having it in Vegas like that, why even try that in Vegas? Or, you know what I mean? Go somewhere else.
Well, he ain't tried it with the tenant.
Man.
You know?
Matter.
You know,
Yeah,
so I would have that in my lease and no sublease and you know, and have him initial that and like, hey, take that to the judge. Like, hey, listen, I put this in the lease, he violated the lease. How can I be liable? Or have errors and omissions or some kind of insurance there.
But here's the thing, B, you know what I'm saying, is that it's always somebody that's gonna try something that's never happened before, right? So you know what I'm saying? Like until this point here, guaranteed from here on out, every other lease in Las Vegas is gonna have that clause in there. Right. But this had to happen in order to alert everybody else
already in
to
there.
do this.
Right. It's probably most of them say sublease. They got to.
It's probably already in there. They did what they want to do anyway, but you as a property owner is still responsible.
Right. But see, that's the thing. Now he paid 2 mortgages on that house. That lien ain't going nowhere until you try to sell that thing.
Yep.
So the city pretty much own that thing.
Yep.
You know, so I mean,
well, no, I mean, the price of property in Vegas is going up, so I'm pretty sure that's valued at more than that.
But close to but it depends on how much mortgage he has on it. And then, you know what I'm saying, especially being close to the strip, you know what I'm saying? Like, eventually he'll be able to, it's a lien, right? So you know what I'm saying, he'll still be able to operate business without necessarily addressing it, but eventually he'll have to address that. And that 180 is gonna hurt, regardless if you're still able to make money on top of that or not. That 180 hurt.
We're into that profit big time.
Right. But I wonder who ratted. Somebody had to rat.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they watching from the strip, bro. They got somebody online.
How you find that out though?
Look, I tell you what happened. It's probably a neighbor that got pissed off because he told him to turn the music down. They said F you. They kept the music blasting. They was just like, okay, yeah, that's how y'all want to play it. I'm finna ring the alarm. And then that started the ball rolling.
Man, with all the access to technology that they have in these casinos, I already know they probably
just ain't watching everybody's house random like that. Like,
if something like they probably not if he ain't like doing numbers. Dude was probably making some money off that joint.
But it was supposed to be a tenant. But the third man, why 180? They don't slap on the wrist first, like no warning.
No, man, they probably got a warning.
Hey, he may right. He may have got one.
They might have got a warning. You know
what I'm saying? $180,000 lien. What kind of fine that is?
How you come up with that? How you come up with that?
Like, that's egregious. Hey,
I'm telling you, it's more to the story. Hey, look, when the house of cards fall, you know what I'm saying, it's because somebody got pissed off and they rang the goddamn alarm. So regardless if that's the person that they subleased it to or whatever the case may be, somebody got pissed off, which started the ball rolling on it. I guarantee.
You got murderers get off bond that's cheaper than that. That's cheaper than somebody that killed somebody bond.
Hey, but they ain't trying to rent no property by the strip.
$180,000, bro. That's outrageous.
And if you in this business or where what's going on, you have to know what the penalties are. Like
that can't be in the hey, all right, we're gonna slap you with a $10,000 a day every time. Like, come on, man, that's outrageous.
Look, they come back and forth in Houston now about it. They haven't like just completely just nixed it. But it's a lot of people that's for it. There's a lot of people that's against it, and they having these meetings, little town hall meetings with the city council and everything. So we don't even know how it's about to look here.
Right. Let's run this next one real quick while I got it up here.
Yeah.
So I got quite a few left.
And look, while you pulling that up, I guarantee you, I'm saying they was warned at one point in time, and then when they didn't comply, they said, look, we're gonna make an example out of you. You're gonna make the news. 180,000.
All right.
Because we're gonna stop everybody else.
They will not tell you when you buy a house, or at least they didn't tell me, and now I'm salty. So when I first bought my house, my mortgage payment was $1,151. After my first year living in that house, they raised my mortgage to $1,579. The fuck? I thought I was tripping. That is a $428 increase. I was under the impression that my mortgage payment would literally never change, but I was wrong. So here's what happened, and I'm going to use example numbers. So let's say there's a house and the value of that house is $20,000. Because the value of the house is so low, that means that the property taxes are also going to be significantly low. So let's just say the property taxes are only $500 per year. Okay, now let's say an investor comes in and rehabs the entire house, puts everything brand new into the house, boom. Now it's a beautiful home. And now the value of that house is $150,000. Okay, now because the value of the house went up, that means that the property taxes are also going to go up. So now the property taxes are $2,000 per year instead of $500. And this is what they did not tell me. The fuck? So basically, I believe it's every single year they come and do an assessment of your house. And they say, what's the value of this house from last year to this year? And if your property has increased in value, they are going to increase your taxes. Okay, so here's something they will not tell you when you buy a house. Or at least they didn't tell me, and now I'm salty. So
I'll let y'all chime in before I go in while I look for this next clip.
I don't know who she worked with, but they set her up. Like, these are the conversations you have with your client even before looking at a house.
Right.
So I don't know.
I'm gonna go ahead last, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't speak on her situation, but this is the type of thing when we talk to people about buying a house, especially nowadays, with especially how not just taxes but homeowners insurance is going up. One thing that I'm doing now is off the rip, if we do see a house that they like, first thing, get a quote for the homeowners insurance. Because homeowners insurance has gone up so much that it's pricing people out. And then also let them know, hey, your house is going to increase in value. It's two things out of that PIT guide that might change. The principal and interest stays the same. Principal goes down as you pay it off, but taxes and insurance is going to always change. And so you all like every year, even if it goes up $1, you still contest it. I tell them that.
The problem is that, you know what I'm saying, if you don't make it law, chances are it probably is not going to happen. And what I mean is that we're when it comes to purchasing a house, we're in a sales industry, right? In sales, you know what I'm saying, your what they teach you is to highlight the positive, not the negative. The negative is that, hey, look, your payment right now is $2,000. There's no guarantee, but it could actually go up to $2,500 in the next year, right? So, you know what I'm saying, what a lot of agents, what a lot of loan officers won't do is highlight that because they're not required to. So a lot of people get put into these houses and they don't necessarily understand, oh, I got a fixed rate. Everybody keep telling me about fixed rate, my payment won't change. Well, that's only for the principal and interest. That has nothing to do with the insurance and the property taxes. That's what they won't tell you because they're not required to tell you. So a lot of people end up getting screwed in the end just because of this simple reason. And for her video, she only highlights property taxes. She don't highlight property taxes and insurance, which is a whole nother animal within itself. So hers went up just based upon property taxes, but you know what I'm saying, chances are her insurance went up too. And then after this whole hurricane in Florida, it's probably going to go up again, right? So a lot of people are going to end up in trouble. But unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, being in the service industry that we're in, a lot of people are not going to tell you that unless you're watching that video.
Right. Yeah. It's twofold. First of all, it's the responsibility of the buyer to undershoot their budget. A lot of people want to be at the top of their budget. We got this bad as a community. We want the Taj Mahal off the rip. And if we could afford $3,000 a month, we're gonna spend $3,000 a month. Bad strategy. Because as that property is going to increase, the value going to increase, the note going to increase. And that's how a lot of people wind up not being able to afford the house or be house poor or whatever, because you already started off at the top of your budget. You know, you pinch, you sneeze and you broke. You know, so the best strategy is if you could afford $3,000, go down to something that's $2,000, and that way you got room to grow. You know, and that way you can put some towards principal, and then if that note become, a little bit more, then you just put a little bit less towards principal. But you never want to be at the top of your budget. All right, let's talk about the flip side of the coin. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Corey, as far as like it's not required, but I still mention it. However, I'm not gonna paint it a certain way because you'll lose your sale. I'm not gonna tell them, yeah, it's gonna be $2,500. First of all, I don't know that. That's incorrect information. I don't know what it's gonna be. Right. So I tell them, hey, listen, don't forget that the principal and interest is fixed, but however, what you want to do is every year you're going to come out with a tax bill. You want to protest that tax and try to keep it as low as possible. Try to make it as less movement as possible. Protest that tax. You don't ever want the actual real value to be the appraised value from the county. You never want that to be the same or more. You want it always to be less. And that's what I educate them on. So I don't highlight the payment because I don't know. And you'll sell yourself. A lot of first-time home buyers are already scared. So you tell them, yeah, it's going to jump to $2,500. I don't know that for a fact. So you'll scale. You'll definitely scale. But it's all on how you do it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So
well, here's the thing is that, I'm saying, obviously, I'm saying, we take the precaution to let them know what could be. We don't know it could jump up $500. We don't know it could jump up $1,000. But our thing to them in full disclosure is just, hey, look, I'm saying, just make sure you keep a little bit aside just in case it jumps up. It doesn't find you in a pickle. But the problem is that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people actually are living above their means. So in B Dick's example, you know what I'm saying, if they can afford a $3,000, they want the house that has a $3,200 payment, a $3,300 payment, right? To say that they need to go down or whatever, you know what I'm saying, nah, that ain't really what I want, because I can't be able to stunt on my family if I go down to that actual monthly payment. I got to be able to, I need them to come in and be like, wow, this is a great house. You know what I'm saying? So I need to go get that a payment that I can't afford. So then when it goes up, you know what I'm saying, now it puts me in a pickle, and now I look even worse, right? Before that, for that small period of time, I look excellent to my family. So part of it is from us as professionals, especially people that's been in the industry for a while, you know what I'm saying, we know to disclose, hey, look, just be careful. But the reality of the situation is a lot of people take that advice and they throw it out the window. Or a lot of times they go in one ear and out the other, just because they want to do what they want to do anyway, just because they're trying to live and portray a lifestyle that, you know what I'm saying, they truly can't afford, or, you know, just for the reactions of other people, which is unfortunate.
Right. Well, it's bad, just bad planning. You know, you plan the stuff you plan on, you already plan on, like, you know, the worst. You know, we plan on stuff like we plan for the worst things, but we don't plan on, we don't make plans right. Let's just put it right there. You know,
I almost fell in that trap, man. When I bought my house, I was shopping. I wanted to do something, I wanted something nicer, something bigger.
Right.
And I was still working oil and gas, making decent money.
Right.
But I couldn't find it, unfortunately, because I was getting outbid, and the market was crazy at that time. So I found something a little less, a little further out. And then lo and behold, like a year or two later, I get laid off.
Right.
And so instead of like, I mean, I had money saved up, but instead of like having to spend a lot more on the mortgage and everything, I had this house that I'm in now where I didn't have to spend as much. So I wasn't, it wasn't like a stressful point. So
Right.
it actually turned out to be something that worked out in my favor down the line because I ain't stretched myself too much.
Right. I mean, the accolade, like I said, the accolades that you get, you know, for stretching yourself out is it work, not being house poor. You know,
And I wouldn't have been, but then at the same time, I didn't know layoffs was coming and the whole group got cut and all that. Like,
all right, so
it happens, and a lot of things you can't control. So it's in your best interest to stay below, live below your means.
With this inflation, you might want to prepare for increases. You know, so never go at the tippy top of your budget.
Right.
You know, always stay below your means. I mean, and then, you know, like I said, I could afford the range. You see, I'm in the X5 right now. You know what I'm saying? So, but you got to realize everything is temporary though too. Yep. You know, so sometimes you got to take a step back in order to take 2 steps forward. Sometimes you got to chill for a second before you make that, 3-4 step leap. So a lot of people want everything right now. You know, won't you take a 5-year plan and then, pragmatically work toward that plan? Like, all right, this is not the house that I want right now, but let me go ahead and get this, build up some equity for 5 to 10 years. Then let me jump in the house that I want. So but we have it now. We got it now. But and then a lot of times that don't be the right move.
It's that instant gratification mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want it now. And then here's the thing, you know what I'm saying, is that I've had quite a few clients, you know what I'm saying, where it's not that many of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's maybe a female, you know what I'm saying, and her daughter or her son or whatever the case may be. It's only 2 of them, but yet they want a 5-bedroom house. I'm like, for what?
Right. For what?
I may have people that come in town. Well, if those people come in town, unless they helping you pay a mortgage, they need to get a hotel. Like, people come up with reasons to make bad financial decisions, which is very unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's just it's bananas. So you know what I'm saying? When you can't get that 5-bedroom house because you can't truly afford it, then you know what I'm saying, all of a sudden, I'm just gonna rent an apartment for another year and get my ducks in a row. Well, that's another year of equity that you've lost out on.
Right.
It just financially doesn't make sense.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. We prepare for the worst thing. We prepare for the wrong things. You know what I mean? We plan for the wrong thing. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You planning on something that's obscure that might not never happen. And I did the same thing. I got CJ been in my house and stuff like that. yeah, well, I'm gonna entertain and all that, man. In 10 years, I probably had like 15 people over the house. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, what am I doing this
And
for?
sure, you don't want them to get too comfortable anyway because they won't leave.
Right.
Correct.
But I
Oh
don't
man,
even,
you got the space. You got the
you make
space.
it
I'm
too
gonna
nice,
stand
they're
there
gonna
week.
stick around.
right. So I don't even, and I come to find out I don't even entertain like that. So why I need this, this house like this, just really to show off, hey, look what, and it, it ain't do nothing spectacular. I mean, it gained equity, but but luckily that wasn't the house I wanted. I wanted to go higher than that. I almost made the mistake. I almost went a little bit higher than that.
Oh Lord.
So like, what I need all that space for?
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't, so.
And then the more house you get, the more you got to keep clean. The more you got to,
and the higher the utilities. The higher the utilities go, you know what I'm saying? You got to pay electricity on all that, all that square footage that you ain't using.
Right, you in those rooms trying to close vents, close curtains.
Correct. You getting screens on the windows and everything, trying to save energy. Man, it ain't even worth it. At the end of the day, I'd rather give me a house, you know what I'm saying, that's comfortable, a one-story house that's comfortable enough for me and my child, or me and my two children, 3 children, whatever the case may be. Let's travel, man. Right. Let's spend some money on some stuff on living life. You know what I'm saying? Not just to make everybody else happy. Hell, I want to make myself happy. Let's go see parts of the world. Something.
Right. My man, Steve Cloud, what's up, man? Cloud be changing that avatar. My generation, which is millennials and Gen Z, we all have microwave mindset. We want things overnight, but life doesn't work that way. I mean, exactly. Couldn't say it better myself, man. It's like it's Gen X as well. So it's my generation as well. So it's like we definitely want the Amazon, Uber Eats, want it now. The thing is planning, man. It's strategic. Like even now making moves, but it's a 5-year game plan. It's making a game plan to do some things. Is always delayed gratification, and then I kind of know myself a little bit more. Like, hey, I know I'm not gonna have a whole bunch of people around, so what I need to be all bougie for, So I'd rather take that and spend on different, land and stuff like that, and I know I don't need no exquisite house because I ain't no entertainer like that.
Man, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, it boils down to financial literacy. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, if you don't have that previous generation to actually school you, help you understand, live below your means, live on a certain percentage of your income and that type of thing, you know what I'm saying, a lot of us fall into the same trap as the previous generation did. And then you would think that, you know what I'm saying, people say all the time, learn from others' mistakes. Right. Learn from the previous generation mistakes. But for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people just don't do that. It's just like, it was okay for them, so I'm going to follow in the same footsteps. They rented forever, so I plan to rent forever.
Well, you only know what you see. You only know what you see. I was thinking about this the other day. I did a lot of mistakes. I repeated a lot of stuff because that's all I knew. You if that's the only example that you thinking this is the norm. You thinking this is what you're supposed to do. So if you don't have a different example, like you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Man, that's cap now, though. That's cap now because with all this information out here.
Well,
right.
That's their generation. I'm talking. Don't forget, I'm Gen X's. We caught. This is a new phenomenon.
Yeah, you was making that excuse for the kids, not like for the young, millennials. I understand.
The
like
youth now, the youth now doing the same thing.
It ain't no excuse now. Like
you have no excuse.
Everything's in here.
Right. All the TikTok videos, they watch TikTok, Instagram videos, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They got somebody on there that's teaching.
They didn't have to wait for after 7 o'clock to start calling and make texts. It's in text. Get them for free. Or wait for the weekend.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't had to wait for all that. All the information is at their disposal. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people, a lot of the social media influencers and all this other stuff that they follow, a lot of them have caught on to, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? Let me drop some financial gems here and there, right? So, you know what I'm saying? Even for the people that you idolize and that you watch on a day-to-day basis, they're still telling you what you need to do. And you just choose not to follow that. There's no excuse.
Gotcha. I got a few more, so let's get to them. I forgot I got about 5, 6 more, man. Hold on a second. Let's run it.
Coral Gables, Florida tops Beverly Hills as America's top luxury real estate market. Coral Gables, Naples are emerging as the hottest spots for real estate wealth in the United States, surpassing traditional high-end markets like Beverly Hills and New York City. Recent data from Zillow Group reveals a significant shift, with 7 of the country's 10 priciest neighborhoods now located in Florida. The landscape of luxury real estate has dramatically evolved, with Florida's affluent neighborhoods witnessing staggering price appreciation. Example, Naples. Port Royal neighborhood home values soar by almost 80%, Coral Gables nearly 50%, leading to substantial wealth gains for homeowners. For your real estate updates, contact me.
Oh, so I'm gonna go ahead and run that first because and I'll let y'all go ahead and elaborate. But things changed, man. We thought Beverly Hills and Baldwin Hills and Maryland and what else? The other high end. We knew Miami, we knew New York and all that stuff, but Florida got 7 of the 10 most expensive neighborhoods now.
Believe it. Right off the water.
Yeah, so it's changed. 2 things I take from that is that every industry, you have your bedrock things, but things could change as well. So, so this is the new thing. And then secondly, the main thing I heard is that people that invest in that neighborhood seeing gains of 80%. So it goes back to what I was saying. Like real estate, man, it's it's always gonna be worth something. So the people that invested in that real estate, man, they more than double their money. So I'll go let y'all chime in while I get this next one.
That one was news to me because I thought Boca Raton was, one of the most expensive places in Florida. So that was news to me. Everybody already knew Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, had expensive places, expensive neighborhoods, so on and so forth. But I thought Boca Raton was the retirement capital of the rich, where they had expensive houses and everything else. So I learned something on that video.
Yeah, but at the same time, it makes sense because if you ain't wealthy, you ain't making it in Florida anyway. Because they're doing just like they did with California with the insurance companies backing out. So if you don't have the bread to pay these exorbitant amounts for insurance, you leaving just like so. I forgot when the report came out, but it was talking about the top places where people are relocating to Houston from. California is number 1. New York used to be number 2. Florida is top New York for the number 2 spot for the amount of people relocating from state to state. So we got a lot of people coming here from Florida, and it's strictly because of homeowners insurance. So if you don't have the bread, you ain't gonna make it. Just like California, they come in here. There's people, same thing in Florida coming here. But if you papered up, you got wealth, you can still stay in Florida, California. Like they're the only ones surviving out there because otherwise
you're gonna be wealthy, because they property is skyrocketing, it's steadily going up.
Yep.
So let's run this next one because I got a few more. So let's run this next one. Yeah. I think this one is a short one, if I'm not mistaken.
Is always to pick the best house that you can afford in the location you want, even if you got the worst house on the block. Because I bought a lot of the worst houses on the block, but you can always update the house over time, and good locations are always going to hold their value. My advice is always to pick the best house that you can afford.
I mean, short and sweet. What do you think of that?
Yeah. You don't want the biggest, nicest in any any neighborhood, because when you do that, you basically comping yourself out. And you ended up going like you'll sell for more only because you got more square feet, more bedrooms, but you're gonna sell at a lower price per square foot than anybody else. Because when it's time for an appraiser to go out and they don't see comps and they see, you got the biggest, nicest in the neighborhood, you basically are saying this house don't fit here. So in order for somebody to buy this house, you got to sell it for less.
Right.
And here's the other thing, you know what I'm saying? When you're in a great neighborhood, you're going to appreciate at a higher clip than other neighborhoods.
Correct.
Which is why, you know what I'm saying, it's more difficult to purchase houses within great school districts or that zone of great schools, just because they're in higher demand. You know what I mean? So if you can get inside that neighborhood, you know you're always going to be able to sell your property, for one. And then two, you're always going to be able to get great appreciation and great equity 1, 2, 5 years, 10 years down the line, just because everybody's always going to want to be in that neighborhood, just because they want the school districts, or if you're close to Disney World, or you're close to Disneyland, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the attraction is for everybody to go to that neighborhood, you know you don't have to worry about the cyclical ups and downs of the market, just because there's always going to be a demand for that neighborhood. So even if it's the smallest house in that neighborhood, you can feel safe that you can get rid of that asset if you need to.
I got two things for that one. And one has like a asterisk towards it. The first thing, yeah, I definitely agree. Get the worst, again, let me repeat this. Get the worst house in the best neighborhood. The worst house, even if you need to fix it up, get the worst house in the best neighborhood. However, make sure you find out why it ain't sold yet before do your due diligence before you buy it. You know, because I was looking at one in the Heights the other day. I thought it was a steal, but I did further research. It was back up to the Riverway. That's why, you know, nobody ever got it. You know, that's why I'm like, yeah. So sometimes it's too good to be true, but always get the worst house and the smallest house in the neighborhood, and then you always could upgrade, you know, and make it better and stuff like that. But never try to get the biggest and the baddest in the neighborhood, because all you can do, you're gonna plateau quicker. The second thing, and this holds true to a lot of other stuff as well. I found out with the Range Rover, I got the spec'd out, the Carbon Edition, the SVR, and all that stuff. Man, I went to go sell that thing, and hey, they don't even have a line item for the Carbon Edition. I got the receipt. Hey, this is Carbon. It's an $8,500 package. Ain't no tab for that. So you just got to eat that. You know, the description to say SVR. There's nothing that says Carbon package. So you get all these different editions and stuff like that. It don't really mean nothing in the resale value. And I was speaking with a new financial advisor. Actually, he's supposed to come on the podcast today. He got a happy hour, so we double booked. But he's gonna probably be on not next week, the election, but the week after that, probably November 12th. I probably have the new financial advisor on. But he was talking about he's in the car business as well. So he's like, the worst thing you could do is customize cars, because it has no resale value at that point. You know, you put wrap on it, you put something on it. It's pretty much you didn't. Just take that money and throw it out the door, because it's not worth nothing at that point.
Including them rims. Them rims you put on there, the fold you put on there, it ain't nothing.
It ain't worth the damn thing. Actually, you actually diminishing the value of the car.
And depending on, even with houses, depending on what, like the type of upgrades and things you put in the house, if they consider that enjoyment value versus like actual value, it's like if you want to put a pool and you're the only house in the neighborhood with a pool, an appraiser might not count that for nothing. They be like, hey, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun spending that $75,000, and I hope you got enough laps in that joint. It ain't worth nothing over here.
Right. So
there is a such thing as over upgrading the house. You know what I'm saying? Where you're not going to see that value back.
You know, us as a community, we like to customize there. You ain't up on this. You ain't got this. But a lot of time, that's not a great investment. You know, that one little extra thing, that ain't a good investment, man. The whole thing is in the resale thing. Don't forget that you're gonna sell this thing, especially stuff like cars and houses and stuff like that. You got to sell this thing. So
yeah, and just like all the entertainers was like buzzing down watches. They ain't diamonds in a Rolex or AP that it wasn't never for. Right. That ain't increasing. That's decreasing the value.
Decreasing the value, and again, guns and butter. It's butter. It look good for the girls and stuff, but it's all memories. It's all fades away. Because now it ain't worth it. You done took it and devalued it. You know? So buy the worst house in the best neighborhood, and then keep it conservative, man. You know, think about it. Our counterparts been on to something. You know what I'm saying? They've been on to something for a minute. You know, we just learning this stuff. You know, we won't be different. You know, but let's run this next one. Hold on one second.
It's not the ones that are rich that are buying these homes. It's the ones who know the most programs. rd.usda.gov. Click there. Click there. Click there. See this map? Click it to zoom in. All the areas not shaded in yellow are eligible for $0 down payment with USDA. That's over 90% of the country. Go there, hudhomestore.gov. Type in your city. All the homes on this site can be purchased for $100 down payment. Google that. Click the first one. Go to Bow County and pick your state. Press send. See these limits for 1, 2, 3, and 4 units? Remember those or write them down. Then go to Zillow. Type in your city. Any homes for sale under that amount, you can buy with FHA. And if you have a 620 credit score, I work with a lender that can get you 5% down payment assistance to buy these homes. That covers your entire down payment as well as some of the closing costs. You can do that on a 1, 2, 3, or 4 unit. Want to bid on some cheap property? Go to cookcountylandbank.org. Site looks like this. Click apply by property. Click whichever one you want. Look at all those properties. And on this site, you can bid on them. You don't even need a real estate agent. Want to buy some foreclosures? Go to homepath.fanniemae.com. Click search homes. They're all over. Only 3% down. Or go to homesteps.com. Site looks like this. They're all over the place. Also only 3% down. If you want to be pre-approved for any of these programs, click the link in my bio and fill out the form that says I want to be pre-approved.
I'll start it off while I look for this next one. You got some good stuff up in there, some of it can't. I mean, some of them need more context. You know, but that is true. When I just closed on some land in Liberty County, and this dude research on it, ain't none of them the rich folks. You know, I'm looking by the surnames, and we just behind as far you know what I'm saying. We behind as far as just buying land. And a lot of people that just don't know, like, get that land and just sit on it. You know, I'm looking at the you know, the order in 2010 for $10,000. Now they, 15 years later, you 60, 70. You know, so you can't put that in the bank and do that. You know, this ain't gonna happen. So just have 10 bands sitting in the bank, buy you some land and sit on it for 10 years and see what happens. So I don't know why we're not on this. You know, I'm looking at everybody else eating off of this land. They just sitting on it, flip it. They ain't planning on doing nothing with it. Flip it. You know, and it ain't us that's buying this land. I'll tell you that. That's all I'm gonna say like that. You know, so to add more context, yes. USDA has a loan, 0 down. It's not a great loan unless you plan on. So it's a great loan for somebody that's specific. You don't have a lot of money to put down and you want to move to a rural area. It's a good loan. However, if you close to the city, you want a better interest rate, you want less mortgage insurance, there are better programs than that. So if your main goal is low down payment, yes, that's, in rural area, there's a niche. I might do 1 or 2 of them a year. There's not very, very many people. There's not a big appetite for that. Yes, the HUD, you can $100 down is the same as, same as USDA. There's down payment assistance. There's all kind of stuff. The only thing, huh?
That's always been.
Always been. This ain't nothing new he telling us. But the thing is, you got to qualify for this stuff. Mm-hmm. Let's say this on. I'm gonna say this on there because everybody. This is one of the biggest things. You got to have a work history. You can't be working somewhere for 2 months and try to get a house. It's not gonna happen. You got to have a history. If you W-2, even if you switch jobs, as long as you have a 2-year history of working. If you own your own business, you got to have a history. At least 12 months. You got to have a history of owning that job. I mean, owning that company. You got to have a history. So you can't 1 or 2 months. All right, I want to get a loan. You don't have a history. So yeah, all of this is possible, but you gotta you got to have some type of stability and a track record to show, and it got to be on paper. I mean, there's other ways to do. There's all these exotic products, and you could get around this the bigger your bank is. There's no doc loans. You gotta have 25% down and good credit. You gotta have something. You gotta pick your struggle. You know, so
gotta have a credit. You gotta have the money. Huh?
You gotta have the credit and the money. If you ain't got the income, you got the income. You know, you gotta have the credit. You know, you can't have nothing and then try to. It's not gonna happen. Them trying to make it seem so easy. You can get into a house. Nah, you gotta have something. But those houses, you know, there's zero down, but you gotta have a job. You gotta have good credit and stuff like that. You know,
the other thing is too is that they have these programs, but you know what I'm saying, you got to be able to be financially responsible in order to qualify for a bunch of these. You know what I'm saying? So when he talk about the USDA, you talk about the 100%, right? You know what I'm saying? There are some pockets within, like for example, for Houston, you know what I'm saying, there are some pockets where you're saying you can be on the suburbs and still qualify on the USDA map. But the problem is for a lot of people is that USDA is going to cap you at 43% total debt to income ratio, which a lot of people struggle to get underneath 57%. So if you struggle to get underneath 57%, you're not going to be able to get underneath 43% to even have a chance to qualify for that type of program. So understand, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, a lot of this stuff is kind of clickbait. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to draw you in, trying to get your attention. But you got to understand the details of this program in order to qualify for them and take advantage of these programs. And that's the biggest thing.
Right. So, but yeah, there's a lot of land that you could bid. Yeah, there's foreclosures, but good luck. Don't forget with them foreclosures, you know, you got everybody else looking at that list. Yep. You know, so but this stuff is all about planning. I'm gonna just say this on record: get rich quick is an oxymoron. I don't know if I said that before on the Power of Ownership podcast, but you gotta have a lot of plannings, a lot of strategies, and then you got to have a ferocious grind. You got to be able to execute that plan. That you can't luck up on money. You're not going to luck up on it. I mean, I know they make it seem easy and all that stuff, but you got to have a ferocious grind, a ferocious hustle, and you got to have a plan in order to make it. This is what it is. So don't fall for the overdose. Like, oh, it's easy. They're giving away homes online. Here goes the website. Here go the website.
You know, they see these shows on TV and like, hey, they can do it. Like, there's a lot going on during that commercial that they ain't showing you.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, but you got to qualify for the thing. You know, you got to have good credit. You got to have low debt to income ratio. You got to have, you know, money in the bank. You got to be established. You're just not gonna. Oh, I made my second paycheck. Can I get a house? You know, my credit getting good now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it ain't gonna happen. You got to be established. You got to put it. And this is a slow burn, man. This is a slow grind. You know, it's not instant gratification. Let's run this next one.
Right.
You know, so
top red flags when screening tenants so you don't lose your ass. Number 1 is their credit report shows a car payment older than 90 days late. Number 2 is if they have any evictions in the last 5 years. Number 3, if they have collections on their credit report that are not medical or education based. We usually let those slide. Number 4, if their car is trashed, usually people treat their cars like they treat your house. Number 5, they want to pay the deposit in payments. That is their first red flag. Number 6, they have the cash right now and they want to move in right now. And number 7 is if they change jobs often, it's not bad for them, but it's bad for you. Hope you were taking notes. Go screen those tenants. Here are the top red flags.
All right, what y'all think about that right there?
100% correct.
You got some good ones.
All right.
100% correct. I think you're saying for a lot of people that run into that decide that they want to do rental property or whatever the case may be, they run into these issues because they either 1, don't know the red flags to look for, 2, ignore the red flags, or 3, they don't even do due diligence at all. Like, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at this. Everything looks good on the application. I'm not running no criminal, any kind of eviction background reports or none of that stuff. I'm not double checking social security numbers to make sure that it's a real number. It's not some kind of TIN that they got off the black market or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of times landlords get lazy just because they get into it. Man, I got so much other stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, they look fine. They got the money. I'm going to rent it to them. And then it turns out to be a nightmare. It costs you almost double or even triple just to be able to fix and get out of the situation that you got yourself into. So in most cases, if you want to get into rental income, there's money there in rental real estate, but you got to do your due diligence. If you're not willing to do your due diligence, get a property management company that will. And that way, you know what I'm saying, you save yourself a lot of money and a lot of headache.
Yep.
Right.
Man, not just that, it's the tenant pool is not as good as it was, and it's a lot of scamming going on. So
Right.
you, like, especially when talking about they want to pay cash right now, move in right now,
Right.
you better watch out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely got a lot of smart.
And a lot of times when you talk to tenants, you know what I'm saying, they're so idiotical, you know what I'm saying, and just asking basic questions, they'll tell on themselves.
Yeah.
And one way or another, you know what I'm saying? So you're able to read between the BS at the end of the day.
Right. Well, this my 2 cents on it is that, yeah, don't forget the old cliche, the old saying, or should I say, slogan is garbage in, garbage out. So you quick to rush to get that money and get it rented, and you don't do your due diligence, and you're gonna suffer later. So pump your brakes a little while, and have a process and have an actual step by step that you do treat everybody the same. So the moment you prejudge, that's when you're gonna lose. Oh, they look good, they look like they was gonna pay me.
Or the moment you do something different is discrimination.
Right. So you got to do your due diligence, have a step process, an underwriting process, so to say, and treat everybody the same, and that we make emotional decisions. When you react with emotions, then most of the time you're gonna lose. You can't go based on looks. A lot of times that'd be the worst. That'd be the best scammers. Don't forget that there's TikTok videos now that teach people how to squat on property. So a lot of times you can't, they squat on it. You got to go to court to get your own property back.
And here's the thing, you're going to pay one way or the other. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you choose to first get into rental real estate, you know what I'm saying, and you want to property manage yourself, pay the money to get educated and understand. There's so many loopholes and so many tricks these tenants are trying to pull. They're professional tenants for a reason, just to try to get over on independent landlords that don't do their due diligence or know what the hell that they're doing. So, you know what I'm saying? With that being the case, you know what I'm saying? Just pay the money to get the education to understand what exactly you need to do in order to prevent that from happening. It doesn't completely take you away from putting a bad tenant in your property, but it definitely decreases your chances of putting a bad tenant in your property, for sure.
Yeah, and this is a message to like the people that want to get into investing. And we're talking about, is it better to flip or buy and hold? This is evidence right here, because if you don't have the carrying cost to be okay with your place being vacant for a month, 2 or 3, and then that's what happens is they find these people that are desperate because the house has like been on the market sitting longer than they can carry those expenses, and they just want to get somebody in there, and then you end up messing yourself over because you're desperate. So if you don't, you strap for money and you can't handle those carrying costs, that's gonna, you gotta budget that just in case it takes a few months to get somebody in there. And if that's the case, that's when flipping is better than turn around and just sell that thing.
And then I'd add this is that, you know what I'm saying, what we talked about earlier, where we talked about, you know what I'm saying, people actually walking the talk, you know what I'm saying, right? Practicing what they preach, that type of situation. What I see is, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people get into rental real estate. They're relying upon the agent that they have listed, that haven't listed the rental property on the market. They're relying upon them to screen the tenant and to pick the tenant for them, which is a big mistake, because a lot of these agents have never been in a position where they manage rental real estate. So, you know what I'm saying, you're relying on somebody that's inexperienced to pick somebody for you. At the end of the day, you got to deal with that issue, not the agent.
Right.
Once the agent leased that out and they make their half of that first month's rent, they're gone. if you have any issues, you think they're showing up to eviction court with you? You think they're gonna go down there to court and file with you? They're gonna be like, man, I so hate to hear that, man. You know what I'm saying? They look good from the beginning. Let me know when you get them out so I can lease it again. You know what I'm saying? So they don't care. They don't have any skin in the game. So understand, nobody's gonna vet these people the same way that you're gonna vet it. And if you're running into a real estate agent that's never done it before, be very leery. Just get a property management company if that's the case. Or, you know what I'm saying, educate yourself, do the due diligence, and pick the tenant yourself.
And this is another thing that go to the clip before. A lot of style sounds good, but you know, they make it look good. Oh, I got 10 houses, but you know, there's a lot of ways you can lose. Like you said, that you can lose your shirt. You know, if you don't know what you're doing, you know. So it sounds good, but a lot of people want to hop into stuff and don't want to pay for a mentor or pay to get educated, so on and so forth. Let's hit this next one real quick. I still got a couple more.
You still door knock? I mean, my goodness gracious! Like, you sell big houses.
There are properties like that in certain neighborhood. I mean, that's the perfect opportunity for door knocking. So out of the sudden, you actually knocking on a door, bringing value to that individual, where you actually have a client, a real client, looking for a property in that neighborhood that looks like those houses, right?
That sweat equity, nobody wants to do that. That's not like the glamorous work. I had the opportunity to talk with Danny Hertzberg. And what he was telling me was something very similar. When they have a buyer looking for a specific product, they know where those are. And door knocking, connecting with those sellers, those owners, those people that don't know they want to sell their house at that very second is really kind of the secret sauce.
Is that the secret sauce?
No, not in 2024.
Right.
I think anything that you do, you know what I'm saying, you have the chance to be successful at it. Is that the most efficient way to get leads or to get people? You know what I'm saying? I would fair to say no. I would fair to say, you know what I'm saying, that's you know, passe, that's in the old times or whatever the case may be. But I think in the current market, you know what I'm saying, door knocking is not the most efficient way and not the highest use of your time in order to get listings.
I get what he's saying. Like, if you're talking luxury and you got a buyer, man, I want that house right there. Yeah, I'm not gonna do boom. Hey, you want to sell? You know, because I got a client won't buy this. You ever thought about selling it?
Yeah, if you got a client already, but if you don't have a client,
right? But
and I think it's not just it comes down to being consistent with it, because in this day and age, people are going to be looking at you through the camera, talking to you from the camera, and unless they know you, they're not opening the door. So you got to do something for them to get familiar with who you are, and it may be, hey, I'm going to be door knocking every couple of weeks or once a month in the same area, so people get familiar with me. I might have to do an event or two just so people get familiar with me. But it's not just going to be just door knocking, I don't think.
I think the only way is what he said. Like, if you got a qualified buyer already, he told me he wants this specific neighborhood. He's very specific. I'll go knock a neighborhood like, hey, I got a client that wants this house right now. You want to sell this thing? We get a quick close. I'll do that because possibly I can get both sides.
Yeah.
You know, so and then that way I could add value. Hey, man, I done went talk to every customer on this here. I done talked them through the doorbell. Ain't nobody selling or shoot, I got one. You know what I'm saying? You gonna say give him 30 days, 45 days, and he might, you know what I mean? So it adds value, make you seem like you're doing something, but I could do that in the luxury. If you're talking $1 million, $2 million houses, yeah, I'll knock away. I might get the police called on me, but you know.
I was just gonna say
that ain't really soliciting because you ain't selling nothing.
Right.
It ain't, but your success rate is going to depend on exactly who you are, as you stated, right? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's going to be a little bit leery. Mm-hmm. I don't have an agent to give a buffer to if, you know what I'm saying, you're legit or not, right? So sometimes people is willing to be open, or sometimes people is willing not to be open. And the chances are, you know what I'm saying, if somebody is in a luxury property like that, you're banking on them not being connected enough to know anybody in real estate in order to say, hey, look, you know what I'm saying, you know, I don't have anybody, I'm willing to let you list this property, or I'm willing to open my property up just with me and you know what I'm saying, without anybody else coming into the equation. So I think it's a lower percentage chance of that being successful, but it's not to say never. It
Yeah.
would never happens.
But
I mean,
even if they don't sell
probably
it
got the
right
same
away, you
success
introduce
cold
yourself.
calling.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say you probably got the same success rate cold calling.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
I
and that
think
way you ain't burning gas and burning energy.
I think only in that specific situation, I think it makes sense. If I got a qualified buyer, if they don't buy, even if I talk them through the Ring doorbell, I introduce myself. It's on their mind, and then if they don't right now, if I leave an impression on them, they might not sell right now, but they'll keep my, hey man, remember blah blah blah. I'm ready to sell now, so I can see that. We waste time on other stuff. You waste time watching a YouTube video. If I got a client, it's only in that specific situation I'll do that. I don't know. If I got a client and there's everything else exhausted, instead of just sitting there waiting for him online, sending him stuff for, man, tell me exactly what you want. Tell me the perfect ideal house. Show me your dream house. All right, cool. I'm gonna look at everything in that neighborhood around there, and I'm a donut. Hey man, you want to sell this thing? And you know what I'm saying? And I go from there. And this the house you want to buy? I'm gonna see if they want to sell it to you. And that shows initiative. I mean, but I can see that happening. But it got to be a certain price tag. I ain't gonna do that for $100,000 house. Like, man, you better get the juice got to be worth the squeeze.
And then
that $100,000 buyer might want to buy 20 of them.
All right. I mean, it depends on what we got. If that he want to invest for property like that, but
he want to buy 20 of them. He want to buy 20 of them. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? If he just want to buy one to live in,
he might be putting you to the test on that one.
Right.
Man, look, he better catch them out in the yard doing their garden or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, and then even then, you know what I'm saying? What the hell you gonna find $100,000? You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. I was just saying that to be extreme. Like, yeah, it got to be a certain price point. Yeah, I'll do that. Hey, man, and I think that's better than to sit there because if you leave them to their own laurels, they might not never make that decision. Man, what exactly you want? Because you've been looking. Show me your dream house. Tell me your ideal house, and listed and unlisted. Show me. Ride by, let's drive together. Show me the house that you would want. I'm gonna see if I can get it for you. So let's rock this next one.
Real estate tips that will pump up your sales in the market today. 1, stay up to date with economic news such as recent changes in interest rates because it's very important for your clients to hear about. 2nd, networking. When you're at events and talking to clients, listen to what they're actually looking for. And 3 is the original ABC, always be closing. You need to be very aggressive in the market today to close deals.
I mean, that's pretty much self-explanatory. I'll let y'all elaborate if y'all want on that.
Yeah, you must say to that.
Huh?
So there ain't much to say to that.
I just want to reiterate to always be closing, man. If you got qualms, if you're in a real estate business or if you're in any business, if you got qualms about talking about your business and you might not make it, man. I mean, it's a time and place for everything. You don't want to talk about business all the time, but I have no qualms about talking about business, as far as what I do and possibly maybe if I can help you do something or we can make some money together. I mean, this is what it is, Now, every situation doesn't call for that, but however, I'm not shy. And the second part was really, networking events. So, that's what, when we go into tomorrow. Let's rock this next one real quick. Let's see. We got two more. Boom. Hold on, let me make sure I'm sharing the screen. 2 more to go.
For business was I went to the kids' school And I said to the parents, I'm selling real estate. I would love to sell your house or your friends or family if you know anyone selling. And it was almost like they would say, oh, well, what have you sold in our area? So I would take someone with me. I would take one of the top agents in the office with me, and we would get the listings. And that was what really propelled me into being able to advertise that I had sold something.
For those of you in the back who didn't hear that, she wasn't so prideful that she had to go to 123 Banana Street and get the listing by herself. She realized, hey, I'm new. I haven't sold in this neighborhood. I'm going to split the deal. It's really like you're paying that person not to split the deal as much as you are to learn from them.
And 50% of something is better than nothing.
100%.
Facts. Facts. Facts.
Yep. And just like we talk about, even not just that side of the game, like new investors. It's like, don't get out here trying to do the first few deals by yourself. Get somebody that has the experience so you can avoid the pitfall. The same thing with new agents. Leverage relationships. Like it's not just about building relationships with clients. You need to build relationships with agents.
Right.
I think that's the best way. That's the best way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're a top selling agent, there's a reason you're a top selling agent. If I come to you and I invite you for a coffee lunch or coffee or morning coffee or whatever the case may be, just to pick your brain, I wouldn't even learn half the stuff as I would learn, you know what I'm saying, going through a whole deal with you. How are you talking to the actual the people that's the sellers when they have these questions? How are you answering them? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you, like, it's so much stuff that you can pick throughout the whole process. How do you handle the process? How do you keep the sellers updated? So on and so forth. I feel like it's the same thing as like you wanted to own your own restaurant, but you choose to go work at another restaurant just to understand the way that it works. It's a school of hard knocks. Like, you're going to pay one way or the other. I'd rather, like you said, get 50% and learn while you earn, which is essentially what it's called. I'd rather do that than, you know what I'm saying, not get the deal just because, you knew, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to take a chance on you. You'll take a chance on me if I got the top selling agent that got 20 listings. You'll take a chance then, and I'm walking every step of the way to understand how to actually do this. So when I do get out there on my own, I know exactly what to say, exactly what to do, and exactly how to handle, any negative comments that come back from the actual listing agents or the buyer's agents. Because that's the one thing that I feel like in real estate that's not taught in any kind of school is how to deal with people throughout a whole transaction. There's a lot of things that you got to deal with. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with the seller. There's a lot of things you have to deal with the buyers. You have a lot of things that you have to deal with the buyer's agents. But if you have no idea, you're deer in headlights, and you can mess up the deal and cost your client thousands of dollars at the end of the day.
I think both of y'all danced around it, but I think both of y'all missed the $1 million tip. So people that watch this video, which ain't a lot, we still need to boost up our YouTube. We'll get more on that Facebook. Dude, we are on YouTube. I need to subscribe. Oh yeah, they'll tell you StreamYard and boosted their price again. They didn't double their price. The StreamYard had more features, the higher they get. But anyway, long story short, the $1 million tip was you're using a cosigner. You're using somebody that vouched for you, and you're using their motion to start your own motion. So they already got the motion going. You use them as a platform to piggyback off of their motion. So it's just like any other, let's take it to the rap game. Dre signed Eminem. Dre was the hot, it was hot. Eminem, that made Eminem hot. And Eminem brought in 50 Cent. And, you know what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. 50 Cent brought in Genuine. It's using that person that has the motion in order to get into that mainstream. So as a new agent, I would butter up the top person in the office. Hey man, come on! I'm gonna get you the leads, man. I'm gonna introduce you. Come with me to this appointment. And you're gonna get 50%. Just let me be a fly on the wall. So when they ask me, well, that's where you weak at, they strong at. Well, what experience you got? Well, he got experience. and he gonna hold my hand. So I'm using emotion. And the lead person, they're gonna take that 50%. They're not gonna tell you no.
No.
You leveraging that bread and you using emotion. So most people stall out because they don't. That's the $1 million tip right there. Most people stall out because they scared to ask. They're trying to do everything themselves. Like I said earlier in the show, like the know-it-alls. I know it all. I can do it all. Okay, you gonna stall today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll be
Pride.
Yeah, the pride. Like you said, she wasn't that prideful. I took the top agent with me. Come on, hey, I gotta set up the appointment. You know, hey, talk to the people. Boom, boom, boom. Well, what properties you sold? Well, I ain't sold any, but I'm friends with the top. I'm friends with such and such. And if we give me a chance to get an appointment, we're gonna tell you what we're gonna do. She got the best. She got the best market in the. Cause look at all the properties she sold. But I'm new, but I'm gonna piggyback. You know, boom, bust that thing in half and keep rolling. Now you got.
You got the little money and you got experience.
Absolutely.
That's the $1 million. That's $1 million worth of game right there. So people that watched us for this hour and a half, you watch it dig and get this nugget. You didn't. That's your ticket to making some real bread, huh?
Correct. That's the ticket.
That's the ticket right there. A lot of people, you ain't got no leads. I mean, well, if you scared to talk to people, that's a whole nother ballgame. You ain't never. All you got to do is talk to people and use their credit. You use their motion to seal the deal.
It happens all the time. Where
Right.
you know what I'm saying, people partner with the big boys, you know what I'm saying, and then it becomes we. We've
Right.
done such, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, it's all about getting the deal, being able to make sure that the client is taken care of and make sure that you're able to learn and shorten that learning curve along the process. Period.
Right.
At the end of the day, you gotta have a mindset. What's gonna benefit my client anyway? So if you coming in and you green, you don't know like everything to do. It's in your best interest to do that for your client anyway. Not
Correct.
just for you to get the experience, but for them to have a successful transaction.
The problem is people won't run to the broker all the time though too. They want the broker to answer the question. Or they just go to their team lead. They get in these teams and then they go to their team lead and their team is mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Let's run this last one. Let's run this last one. Then we go and wrap it up.
He's a mortgage broker. I've been with my bank for 12 years, and let me tell you, they love me.
Well, the first thing is we are actually legally obligated to act in your best interest. A quick little secret, the banks aren't. And not only that, but we can take out the stress and everything. So we help organize the application, help you with loan documents, help you with settlement, also help negotiate interest rates. And the personal favorite, we are 100% complimentary, which means you do not pay anything to use a mortgage broker.
I use a mortgage broker. I've been with my bank for 12 years.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it is true. Like I said, with a mortgage broker, we have more features than the bank. That he made a great point that the bank don't have to look out for your bank don't have to look out for your best interest. Yeah, we do. You're our client, so we're gonna shop the best deal for you. We have more options. We're gonna help bring you along the way. With a big bank, they kind of on salary. They really don't care because some of you have 1% that care, but most of them, they kind of just going through the motions because they're gonna get paid regardless anyway. So and they're either underpaid and overworked. So you can't. It's almost like that teacher that got 100 students in the classroom. You can't pay attention to every student because you can't learn every student because you're underpaid and overworked. So they'll I'm not getting paid a whole bunch for me to sit there and babysit. Your particular situation. So they miss a lot. And you want it. Okay, next. So they don't have a lot of skin in the game per person because they're not getting a lot for to help you. So they don't really care. You don't fit in this box. Okay. It don't pay for me to take you from A to B or getting creative to take you from A to B because it's not going to really benefit me as a banker. as a broker, we got more skin in the game. So if I get you to the finish line, that's first of all, I only get paid if I get you to the finish line. So I'm gonna do. I got way more skin in the game because I don't get paid until you get a house.
The other thing to add to this is, you know what I'm saying, when you go to these big banks, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, they want A paper.
Right.
Maybe B plus. You know what I'm saying? So if you got any kind of issues, you know what I'm saying, you may be short on funds or something like that, you know what I'm saying? And you're not a 700 credit score, whatever the case may be, they're gonna run you through the ringer because they don't want anything to do with you. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times if you want that personal touch, you need to come to an actual mortgage broker. Because you know what I'm saying, that way, you know what I'm saying, you're able to reach a mortgage broker in some cases, you know what I'm saying, after 4 o'clock. And a lot of these bigger banks, you know what I'm saying, if you don't reach them 4 o'clock, they're done. And then if it's a Friday, it could be 2 or 3 o'clock.
Forget about Saturday,
Sunday. And forget about Saturday or Sunday. You know what I'm saying? You got a question or something? Oh, that's going to have to wait until Monday. And then if you send an email, they probably got so many emails to go through. They may not get back to you until Tuesday or Wednesday. So you know what I'm saying? It's understanding that if you go through a big bank, there's a lot of things that you have to give up. Your best chance, you know what I'm saying, if you want the best experience, is to go through a mortgage broker. Guaranteed.
Let's read what my man Klaus said. Great show. I really listen to you guys and learn something rather than watching hip hop gospel. You know, I watch the show and learn something. Yeah, I mean, facts. I mean, you're on the right path right there because, you know, don't forget that food is not only what you eat, but what you consume mentally as well. So a lot of people want these outcomes, but you consume mental junk food. You know, you're watching mindless stuff or watching stuff that's supposed to detach you from reality. All of the nuggets that I'm trying to give you is I'm giving you stuff from, we're giving you stuff from my experience and trying to, guide people to better outcomes. And as far as not only business, but just making better decisions, you know. So if you absorbing this information, you're going to be light years ahead. I want to tie that what you said to as far as what Corey said as well, like that decision making. A lot of people don't know any better. You know, a lot of people just program Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, because that's all you know. You think bank, oh, I know a bank, and you're not aware of what the difference between a mortgage broker. So Cloud, by watching this, now you know, like, hey, big banks ain't where it's at. Not if I want to buy a property and be an investor. That's not where it's at. They don't give a damn. Unless you got this 800 credit score. And then, you know, you still might not even get the best rate. I still probably find a better rate, you know, dealing with a mortgage broker. And then I'm gonna hold you by the hand and do everything, you know, pretty much for you, you know. So it's just better. Brokers are better, period. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, but if you don't know, you don't watch the show, you watching, Lifetime or the, you know, I don't even know what it was, Lifetime and what's some of them shows on Lifetime and all that stuff and on VH1? Huh?
Lifetime? I don't know.
Yeah, they got Lifetime Network. They be having a soapy.
Man, we don't watch no Lifetime Network, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Women show. You know what I'm saying? They be having like, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but
look,
anyway,
it's fine. But you know what I'm saying, here's the thing: is that, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, we first off appreciate you, TJ, for, you know what I'm saying, actually participating. You know what I'm saying? You participate in the actual conversations. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one day we can have you up on this thing. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, our idea is to give you an inside glimpse of what we go through on a day-to-day basis. A lot of these videos and stuff that you watch is just kind of on the outside looking in. They don't tell you the details of it. They don't tell you the details of when you go to a big bank. The underwriting is very detailed, you know what I'm saying, where they got all these feel-good conditions and all this other stuff that they're going to take you through, because what they're looking for is they're looking for that easy loan that they can easily sell on the back end. Right. Anything with a little bit of hair on it, anything that they got to spend time on it, trying to research guidelines and stuff like that, trying to figure out how to get it done. A lot of times you just end up another number. They may or may not get back in contact with you. Or you're trying to hunt them down, trying to be like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? I hadn't heard from you in a week. What's going on? Da, 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 da. Well, you hadn't heard from them in a week because they done moved on to the next person that got a 750 credit score, 20% down. That's the person that they're talking to. They're not talking to you. Any down payment assistance programs, no big banks is going to do a down payment assistance program.
Right. Or too much investment property. They're not going to do no hard money loan. Yeah.
Correct. So, you know what I'm saying? When you run into these situations, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, when you're looking for a person to build a relationship with, to do loans for you for life as you're trying to navigate this real estate industry, a lot of times a broker is a better route to go than a big bank, just becoming a big number.
Right. Well, most people, I would say, very few people know this. I would say less than 20% of the population know this. Most people are program banks.
Yep.
You know,
because that's what they do business with.
Yeah. That's
when
what
you
they
go
do.
in there and you
I got my
talk to your
checking
bank
account.
or whatever, man, I'm thinking about buying a house. Oh, let us put you in contact with such, whatever case may be.
Right.
And it's just like, you know what I'm saying, number one, you got to find that person.
Right.
And then when you do get them to finally give you a call back, you know what I'm saying, the whole process takes 6 months just to get pre-approved, just because you become another number. So ideally, you know what I'm saying, I 100% agree with the video, you know what I'm saying, where brokers is where it's at.
Definitely brokers where it's at. With that being said, man, we almost hit the 145. We was a little bit over today, but I had a bunch of clips. But with that being said, man, we're gonna
a banana clip full of videos a day.
Well, I just go by the hottest. Whichever they put me on the countdown. What's the hottest for that week? So, you know, but I know next week is gonna be the election, so we're gonna see y'all the week after next, man. We're gonna see y'all on the 12th, man. You know what I'm saying? Peace.
No doubt.
Peace.